2010 recommendation and not in this particular study.
So Rohit, the question is that for renewing a license, what kind of value has been fixed? Can we sort of ascribe a 1:1 with 3G or 1.5? Just some clarity on what will be the valuation matrix, if at all one exists in this latest report.
Yeah, the valuation. The valuation is in the report for everyone to see, and it is 53%. It is about 1,800 crores per megahertz on a pan-India basis, which is 53% of the 3G price.
Right, and one other aspect that one sort of gets from a preliminary reading, this has to do with 900 megahertz, and we see that it is being priced at 1.5 times higher than 1800, understandably because it is more efficient than 1800 megahertz. What kind of valuation, is this the correct value that we are looking at?
Again, this is not a subject which is part of the current study, but a decision that was made by the TRAI in May 2010, and the current study has taken that as an input into its analysis, and we have not gone into looking at whether this is a valid multiple or not.
All right, gentlemen, let me put what the stakeholders are saying at this point in time on the preliminary reading of your report. And I'm going to put this question to both of you. I'm first putting to you what Vodafone SR is saying. They're saying that these recommendations actually make the situation far worse for the sector. The recommendations do not rectify the difference in treatment of spectrum. Dual technology companies will pay an insignificant amount as a one-time fee. And they go on to say, and this is Vodafone SR specifically, that the government cannot seek a one-time fee for incremental spectrum. There was no concept of excess spectrum in the license. Rohit, if I can get you to comment on what the stakeholders are saying in response to the recommendations of your report, and then I'll come to you, Rajat.
Shireen, I think it would be going beyond my brief and my capability to say anything about whether the operators who were given spectrum beyond 6.2 megahertz were given this spectrum justifiably or not. That is a matter which I believe is in the courts. All we can say is that the May 2010 recommendation of TRAI says that all operators who hold incremental spectrum are to be charged, and that and our study presents the value that that spectrum actually carries for the operators. As far as yeah,
please go ahead. Go ahead, Rohit.
No, I'm done.
Rajat, would you want to come in on that?
I said the brief of our study, Siddharth, was to calculate the value of the spectrum up to 6.2 and beyond 6.2. We've done that, and there are kind of economic methodologies that have been followed to arrive at this value, and that is the end of our brief. What the government or what the authority does with these values is something that will emerge over a period of time. Our brief was simply to calculate the value. How these are used, how these are criticized, how these become a part of public consultation is something that at this moment I think it would be premature on our part to make a comment on this, as well as it was not a part of our brief.
Perfectly understandable, Rajat. So let me ask you a question slightly outside this report as someone who has considerable experience in this sector. This is to do with the economics of pricing spectrum. Really, one of the issues that general people seem to have with all these latest developments with regard to spectrum value is that what will happen to tariffs in the long run. For years we followed a policy of consciously keeping it affordable so that services could be priced affordability. My question therefore is there a risk in sum total of tariffs going up and the concept of affordability getting defeated as you continuously increase the costs for the industry?
That's a fair question, and I think it's been kind of discussed in the media, even in the context of 3G. And one of the overwhelming responses that has come out from, at least from economists, and since you're asking me a question which is inherently related to the economics of the business, one of the responses that has come out is that given the level of competition in the sector, And given that these are very much in the nature of one-time costs, or what you would describe as fixed costs or even sunk costs, the impact on prices given the competition is unlikely to be very high. In fact, it may not be at all. There may not be any impact on prices. So I would say that let's see how the market pans out and how these recommendations are used, whether the prices of spectrum are increased, there's a one-time levy or not. One doesn't know. This is all speculation. But purely from an economics point of view, given that one-time costs are in the nature of sunk costs, given the extent of competition, unless there is cartelization in the industry, it seems unlikely that prices are likely to go up very much.
All right, so you're saying that it won't really change the economics of the business. Rohit Prasad, my final question to you, and this is one of the comments that's actually come in, and that pertains to the fact that spectrum is spectrum. There is no rationale really for an artificial distinction between spectrum up to 6.2 megahertz and beyond. How do you respond to that?
Well, Shireen, there are while spectrum up to 6.2 megahertz and beyond 6.2 megahertz are similar, the effect of trunking efficiency, which is a technical property of spectrum, only starts kicking in when you have higher blocks of spectrum already under your control. And further, there are just standard economies of scale which kick in once you have a large operation. These economies of scale have to do with marketing costs, salaries, administration costs, etc. So the cost of spectrum that we are charging an operator beyond 6.2 megahertz is not just a function of the technical properties of the spectrum, but also of the quality of the business that an operator can enjoy beyond 6.2 megahertz.
All right, gentlemen, we'll have to leave it there. This is going to be something that is going to be debated, fair deal. Appreciate the fact that you decided to come in and join us here on this discussion, even though the report has just been put out and been made public and reactions and responses are only just coming in. Rajat Kathuria, Rishi and Rohit Prasad, many thanks for joining us on CNBC TV 18.